Hello and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional, the podcast that revolves around one central theme, stories and the people that tell them. We'll talk about movies, TV shows, video games, historical events and weird news headlines. There's really no topic we won't touch. But it doesn't stop there. If you've got a story, something funny or random that may have happened to you or a friend, send it to thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com. Until then, it's story time. We begin this episode by acknowledging the traditional podcasters of the internet and pay our respect to the Godfathers, Dave Weiner and Adam Curry. We extend that respect to other pioneers such as Doug Kay, Mark Maron, and Ira Glass. Without these people, everyday housewives wouldn't be hooked on true crime podcasts. Welcome, everyone, to Stories, the True and the Fictional, the podcast that likes to talk about stories and, well, you know, everything. Joining us, as always, best-selling author of New York Times bestseller, All the Ways Money Does Buy Love, Chris Park. How are you, my friend?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that I'm not only the New York Best Times seller, I'm also the New York Times bestseller. I am published in multiple publications of New York, and so I appreciate that you understand that. You know, the main theme of the book is there are some self-help people who say basically saying, like, you know, they go out there and they're very clear on what they want. They say, money does not buy you happiness, and it's like, you're correct. I can't sit there with a large number in my account and say that makes me happy. But it will buy me the things that would make me happy. It will facilitate happiness. It would facilitate. Let's say, for example, you had, say, a 10-digit bank account number. You potentially could then go out and land the 23-year-old of your dreams, and then and live quite happily up in the mountains.
Or half a Sydney property.
Or half a Sydney property, absolutely. You could potentially buy, you could buy a small shed inside of Sydney, absolutely, with that kind of cash. So yes. The main theme is that, when all else fails, life is a business, and you should treat it as such. And if that means, stabbing someone in the back to get some cash, well then, yeah, hell, get stabbing.
100%. Now this book is going to be like is it going to be a trilogy, a series, all focused around love, or is it going to be focused around money?
Well, I think that's a very good question. So love is the first component of money, obviously, but obviously, we'll then focus on power and then revenge, because one, you want to get it. Money will get you love. It'll get you then in a position of power. But now that you're in that position of power, you have to smite the people that have wronged you in your life. And then we think of elaborate schemes to basically, to fulfill this particular. Nothing is so crass as actually killing someone, because to me that's just a chicken's way out.
No. You mean metaphorically killing someone?
Metaphorically killing them, and
like killing someone's career, killing someone's love of puppies.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's say, for example, your enemy loves, let's say, for example, your enemy loves NCIS for whatever reason. It's then, buying the network that creates NCIS and constantly making them watch themselves as the villain constantly in every single episode over and over again, and constantly lay the over themes of everything they've done in their life has led them to be the villain, to the point where they don't watch the show anymore, taking away their enjoyment. This is some of the themes of revenge that I like to go into in my third book.
No, I think we better stop right here unless we get all these. This is starting to sound like a true crime podcast. I don't want our audience to be primarily women. I want equality here. So as well, a wise man once said, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." Well, our next host came very close to doing that this weekend by giving up a few hours of wrestling to come see Dungeons and Dragons with us.
Absolutely.
Ryan Haig, how are you, my friend?
Very tired, and very, very parched from screaming at my television this weekend.
Now,
and yes,
obviously, Ryan, today was WrestleMania Night 2. It was the Now, there were some great moments during the week. Rey Mysterio, obviously, that's the thing. I think everyone enjoys 619.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get to the meat and potato of it all. The main event: the tribal chief, the head of the table, versus some guy that came out of retirement and hasn't been wrestling for a very long time. How did you?
That's completely and not true. Mr. Cody Rhodes, just because he was wrestling for another company doesn't mean, as much as WWE would like it to think that he retired, he left WWE, went to Ring of Honor, created AEW, never stopped wrestling, and then came back. In WWE executives' mind, that means he was retired for 7 years and came back, which is not actually the case. He was wrestling full time during that 7-year period. And it was honestly, if I have to, I saw online, if I have to make any kind of comparison, WrestleMania Night 1 was booked by Triple H, I guarantee you. WrestleMania Night 2 by Vince McMahon, I can guarantee you that.
You see, I've heard the angry internet people say that, like basically, you know, these angry so people on the internet saying, what a terrible thing is that result. It must be booked. But I mean, didn't we not go through the problem of a part-time champion before with Brock Lesnar, where there was basically 2 title defenses in 2 years or something like that? And so WWE was not going to put the title in the hands of a part-timer. That was just obviously not going to really fly. But I think, Ryan, more importantly, you discussed this problem before, and I do believe it's a true, really a main one. Cody Rhodes, whilst he's got name value, name recognition, he's had his chance, he's had his time in wrestling. But the person that beats Roman needs to be the next big thing in their mind, and I don't believe they don't think they've unearthed this. Did you? I mean, but obviously you were still really hoping that Cody would win, just for obviously sentimental purposes.
Well, look, what you just said then is 150,000,000% correct. If it wasn't Cody, I don't know who the hell it's going to be, because they had 2 perfect contenders in terms of storyline, with Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber with the whole Bloodline story, and then Cody Rhodes with the whole, I've gone away, I've created my own promotion, which is doing quite well. I'm back to fulfill my father's dream. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger than that. But my issue is Roman Reigns is a part-time champion, because he doesn't wrestle at every pay-per-view. He doesn't. If it wasn't for the Sami Zayn thing that they had to bring forward because the Rock situation fell through, Roman wouldn't have wrestled at Elimination Chamber. He only really does every second or every third pay-per-view because he feels that's what he needs to. And to be honest with you, the last 3 title defenses, he hasn't done it on his own. Like today, if it wasn't for Solo Sikoa getting involved, he would have lost. Last time, if it wasn't for the Usos getting involved, he would have lost against Sami Zayn. It's becoming a trend where he can't do it on his own, and I think if he had to do it on his own, he wouldn't be the champion as of 6 hours ago. I really think Cody was the chance to give fans a breather from Roman, for Roman to have some time off and then come back and do the chase. As I've said many times, he's so much better on the chase than he is as champion. But now that Cody's gone down, there's no one on the roster that I can see doing this.
It is quite a conundrum, but I think the bigger, I mean, it's a conundrum, but it's also, to me, it's one of those hilarious, almost self-fulfilling prophecies on this, and in this regard, is where basically WWE, much like my book, as Jamie mentioned, said, is a business. And do they like the fact that they sell out arenas? Yes, but regardless of whatever wrestler they put up, they're going to sell out the arenas because there's diehard fans that will obviously go every single city, every single state. what they look at it obviously is merchandise sales, and that's what drives some of their decisions. And as a business, it should drive your decisions. And when I was looking the other day at some merchandise charts and like some approximations and basically, who's selling the most things, and what I noticed was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I can't remember one of the old teams of wrestling. I can't remember what they were called, RDC something. I can't remember the name of it.
NWO.
NWO, yeah, but was there. The Rock was there. Cena was there, and then Reigns' name was there, and then there was a huge drop off before another recognizable name was on that list. So, in order for Reigns to be dethroned, it's really up to the hardcore fans, isn't it? They need to stop buying Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirts. Stop buying Rock t-shirts. Stop buying Hulk Hogan t-shirts. I know they love those shirts, but they need to then throw their financial support behind a current superstar, and then you will have him dethrone the champion. It's a simple thing. It's a business decision, and I know that people don't like it to be a business decision, but it's a business decision. Throw your money behind the one you like, all get online, decide who you want to be a champion, buy all his merchandise, and I guarantee you he will beat Roman Reigns in a fight because they go where the money is.
Well, they made a comment today that Roman Reigns hasn't been pinned March 2019. And I thought,
whoa,
we're in April 2023. I'm just like, but the thing is, that's like Cody was their chance to go, okay, he's a new fresh face. Let's put everything behind him. But there's no one else. Like everyone else has had their chance. There's no one else. I mean, the whole Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are out of the picture for a while because they just beat the Usos last night for the title, tag team title. So that's the feud that's going to go on for a while. But I can't think of anyone else on the roster that would even come close to taking down Reigns. If not for Cody, who?
Interesting. Yep. Yeah. Well, there you go. This is the conundrum that they're in now. Very soon they'll have to make some sort of decision, but again, that's we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, today's one there was only 2 matches that I was interested in watching on the whole card. Yesterday, there was all but 1 match that I was interested in watching on the card.
Yeah.
It always seems to happen. Night 1 always ends up being so much better than night 2, which shouldn't be the case, to be honest with you.
100%. It shouldn't be the case, but, that is sometimes how that goes, isn't it?
Yes. So needless to say, many early mornings, many hours watching while still maintaining a 9-hour workday each day. Ryan is very sleepy.
Absolutely.
But it only happens once a year. So
once a year,
you got
to see the legend himself inducted into the Hall of Fame, Rey Mysterio.
Yes, I did.
Still one of my favorite wrestlers today.
Yes.
It's still
and here's a comment that you made to me today. You said Cody couldn't have won because he's not big enough. And I was if I didn't jump straight back out onto Uber, my response was going to be, what about Ray? Ray's smaller than all of them, and he's won both Universal and World Heavyweight titles.
Hey, but I mean, Rey Mysterio is there's a legend that is rare to see.
Yeah.
Rarely do you see a postcode become such an infamous finishing move in wrestling.
And I was very happy to see him smack around his little bitch of a son last night in WrestleMania Night 1. It was very good to see him get the family involved in beating up your youngest son. That's always good.
That's exactly what that's exactly what you want.
And look, we got to see something that I guarantee we'll probably never see again, and that was Snoop Dogg doing the people's elbow on the Miz today. And
that's right. Snoop Dogg is now officially
message.
Snoop Dogg is now officially undefeated at WrestleMania. This is now like no joke or anything. This is now in the books. Yep. Snoop Dogg is undefeated at WrestleMania.
Is that like on a technicality sort of thing.
Basically, there was supposed to be a match between Vince's son Shane, who was making his return, and a character called The Miz. But what actually happened, and they revealed it at the press conference at the end, Shane went to do a move and tore his pectoral muscle and went down, and Snoop improvised. Believe it, the highest man in the world was able to improvise and took over the segment to make sure that the segment still went down. So,
okay. So it's like when two FIFA World Cups ago when New Zealand was undefeated because they just drew every game.
Yes. But that is now officially a thing that people will not have to say is that Snoop Dogg is undefeated in WrestleMania.
Yep.
Well,
by landing 2 right hooks and a people's elbow.
In the skinniest dude you've probably seen in your entire life.
Yeah.
But that was interesting.
But well done to Snoop.
Yeah. Well, before we move on to, I know we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. I had something pop up today in the thing. I was like, this is super interesting. The great late Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
Who played Saruman, Count Dooku.
Yep.
Yeah, the great man. A list of awesome facts came up about him that I didn't know about, and maybe you didn't know about. So he witnessed the last public execution in France using a guillotine.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
He almost married Swedish royalty. He was the inspiration for James Bond, which was written by his step cousin Ian Fleming.
Oh.
Damn.
So he is James Bond, apparently. So, and he's the only member of the Lord of the Rings cast to actually meet Tolkien.
Damn.
And he was also in a heavy metal band.
That's
too.
exactly what I was about to say. Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
that voice.
And I can see Sarah, a more darker haired Saruman moshing and the hair flying everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming. Stereotyping.
I'll know him as Count. He will always be my Count Dooku.
Yeah.
And there will never be another Count Dooku like him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I just thought that was interesting.
Although I remember hearing an interview saying he sort of admitted that he was sort of saying I didn't really do much of the lightsaber finding in that because obviously at my age I was going, there's no reason to explain the fact that you, be near 80-year-old man, didn't do an extremely intense choreographed lightsaber fighting scene with a young Hayden Christensen. You don't need to explain that, young man. We understand this. It's fine.
but he could have I can't barely remember it because I haven't watched it in a very, very long time. But he could have totally just done the very when a student takes on the master that is so insanely good, one hand behind his back and hardly do it. They could have done that.
Because he's a very fancy style with his fencing lightsaber, and there was he fought Yoda, which would have been quite difficult for a man his age. And then obviously in Revenge of the Sith, he had a very long, lengthy, and very well choreographed lightsaber duel with Hayden Christensen, and so yes, it was a stunt double, but obviously. What brought Count Dooku his gravitas was the man behind it, Christopher Lee. And it's always good to remember. Always good to remember the legends.
Yeah, he was a fantastic actor. So on the weekend, we all went golf.
Before you do that, Jamie.
Okay. Yes. Oh, yes. Our sponsor.
As you are hosting, do you want to do? Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
I got ahead. What happened is we suddenly talked about wrestling for some reason. It's almost like someone on here likes wrestling or something. That's where I got distracted. But this
Rebecca Cassells.
I was paused. Have you heard of pause for effect?
That was not pause for effect.
Yes, it was. I went like that, and my mouth opened.
That was pause for defect.
Exactly.
Pause for defect. What are you, a cop? Are you a cop?
Not a cop.
Are you going to defect me? This episode is brought to you by Rebecca Cassells and the Rising Dawn series. Check it out on Amazon. If you want a paperback, you can get a paperback. If you want a Kindle, you can get a Kindle. But either way,
it's definitely worth Kindle just to get the Rising Dawn series. In my opinion,
if werewolf romance is your thing, check it out. I'm going to edit this, so shush your mouth.
You better.
In fact, the intro of this, the soundbite before everything comes in is going to be Chris going, "Wow, wow," because I can do that. I'm going to call this episode "Wow."
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. I hope you edit it for your sake. I hope you edit it for your sake.
Oh man, you don't listen back, so you don't know what's going on.
I'm sure
you don't know this stuff. I have the power to make you sound like you want to be a vegan.
I'm sure you do.
But yes, check out Rebecca Cassells and the Rise and Dawn series on Amazon. Now, are we ready to move on, Chris?
I believe you've successfully managed to stumble your way through that. Yes.
Oh no, it was perfect. There was no ums, no ahs. It was just absolutely beautiful. But yes, on the weekend we went and saw a movie, didn't we?
We did.
I mean, yeah. On the weekend before, I saw another movie, which was a lot better. But we're not going to talk about John Wick 4 yet. Dungeons and Dragons. What was our thoughts?
Let's start with you, Ryan. What did you think of? What was your expectations going in, and what did you think of the film?
Not enough dice rolling. Not enough tables covered with Cheetos and donuts and Mountain Dew.
Yep.
No, I thought it was a solid film. I went in with low expectations, and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. It had all the elements of a good Dungeons and Dragons campaign: humor, fuck ups, evil wizards controlling kings or lords as they do. I thought it was good. Evenly party, with a bard, a barbarian, a tiefling, and a mage or a sorcerer, whatever you want to call them. I thought it was very good. I enjoyed it, and I would definitely watch it again.
What do you think, Jamie?
Look, I'm the same. Look, I had no expectations. I think I was worried when I saw what IGN gave it, but then I remembered IGN get 99.9% of things wrong. So I went in with low expectations, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, it was a good, fun popcorn flick. And I think Chris Pine nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
Although
one of the four holy Chris's, he gave it solid performance.
One of the
but
four
then
holy Chris's.
I reckon any of the Chris's could have done that role very well.
I think.
And I was actually really surprised with Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah.
They cast her character as a barbarian perfectly.
Yeah.
Because she can be very one-dimensional as an actress. But I thought she nailed this role. I really thought it was one of her best. Like, I know her from Resident Evil and Fast and the Furious. So she's a very one-sided character, but I thought they absolutely nailed her character, and she played this one really well.
Yeah.
She was kind of like the second, I would say the supporting actress.
Yeah.
And she gave a solid performance. I was very impressed.
Yeah. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but like with the writing, there was some awesome, foreshadowing, bringing things around. I love it when they have something happen at the start, and then you get round to the end, and it, the similar thing happens. But for those who know and have seen it, backstory. It opens with backstory, and someone tries to steal the backstory. And it was, but look, it was it had the perfect mix of comedy and action and seriousness. But I liked it. Chris, are you going to tell us we're all wrong?
No, not at all. I came in with the lowest of lowest expectations. I basically came in thinking like, this is going to be terrible. This is going to be like one of the worst. This is going to be a terrible film. Like the fact that I even agreed to go see it. I was even questioning, I was like going, was that the right decision? But anyway, but I stuck it out. It'd be fun to go out and go see a film. So I went and saw it. And what I saw was an interesting film. Some good, some bad, but a tale that you often see now in Hollywood, which is basically a tale of fatherhood. Now, what I mean by that is Hollywood has one note for fatherhood, which is basically person was deadbeat dad, then tries to make it better later on. This is their one note they know. But this was not that. This was actually more nuanced. This was actually a more nuanced take, and he was, he's a good father, and then obviously went on a mission, then didn't come back, but then obviously, his best friend Hugh Grant's a dick, and so then destroyed his life.
Yeah.
So that was a very, 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 I guess you'd call it a quite surprising take. For Hollywood. Well, what did I think about? They said it in a very, popular D&D universe. Obviously, the Sword Coast, obviously with Neverwinter, and obviously Boulder. They mentioned Baldur's Gate. I feel like they kind of threw in the word Baldur's Gate just to be like,
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate, guys. It's like, yes, I know, and yes, I'm a fan. Yes, we are all a fan of Baldur's Gate. But apart from that, I thought that was quite. I thought it was quite a good film. I even like the fact that they brought in the overpowered NPC to basically redirect the party back onto the right path, like all good DM campaigns do. I heard some people who play D&D, but obviously they're not DMs. They go like, I don't know why that one turned up, and then all people comments are going, because if you've ever been a DM, this is a necessity you have to do sometimes to basically get the party back. Like after the fucked up so many times, you have to be like, okay, here's this dude who's gonna come help you. Here's the correcting path. Right, he's not going to join you because this is your story to tell. This is your quest to make. This is your and some convoluted reason why he's not going to go help you do something. Yeah. And so I quite enjoyed that. The one that was there faults in the films? Yes. One of my biggest faults, and it's not even a big one. It's really minor. I loved, because they did D&D, for them to keep the same sort of restrictions on magic as they would have in, say, the game.
Yeah,
where you can only cast a certain spell so many times. You can only cast and when you introduce limitations on your characters like that, you actually write for a better story, because then they could say how many spells you have left. I've only got one spell left to cast, and so it actually adds stakes to a fight, because you can't just keep spamming spells because there's limitations.
Yeah, well, they did that towards the end though, with the bracelet that suppressed.
That was cool. But what I mean is, during the battle, they're flinging spells left, right, and center. Yeah. They would have been good for them to sort of actually talk about
whatever happened to spell slots,
the limitations of spells and things.
But then at the same time, you could ask, why aren't they fighting one at a time? Sure. Some things don't translate to.
But look, and there's and the reason why I mention this is because there's an anime series called Goblin Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
And the creator of Goblin Slayer actually uses 5th edition D&D to make the world work. Because what the actual story of Goblin Slayer is, basically, this is what happens when a party basically quits and doesn't play, basically leaves the world. And so then the world just continues on, and they're wondering why the gods of fate are not sending them heroes anymore, and it's actually a really cool idea. It's a really cool concept.
Goblin Slayer isn't just Demon Slayer, but with goblins.
No. It's way more yeah. But one of the cool things they do is because obviously they talk about when they talk to them with the party members, they go when they're planning an attack, they go, how many spells do you have? I said, I can cast heal twice. I can do this many times. And then whilst you're watching them fight, you're watching them weigh up each particular spell, as it's really important, because obviously there's a limitation how many times they can cast it during the day, and it adds a lot more tension to a battle. On the flip side, if they had done the druid character correctly, she couldn't have done the escape from the castle as well as she did, because she basically shapeshifted so many times during your character can't do that in the real game. But it was funny, and so I enjoyed that. So I do understand that.
Could one argue that she rolled 5 nat 20s in a row or something?
Sure. Look, you could make the argument that because that she has a quest, I guess a campaign specific trait where she's master shapeshifter.
Yeah.
One of the funniest things in that movie, or one of the lines, was when Rodriguez said, you should transform into a deer. Yes, you should hide with all the other deers in the castle. Yeah. And then she transforms into a deer. She goes, oh, so you did transform into a deer. I thought that was that was well done.
Yeah.
And one of the greatest things that, again, I think we're all laughing, was the graveyard scene.
Yes.
Where basically I was going, well, that is a DM being, and that basically punishing his players, and I loved it. I just fucking loved watching him punish the 5 questions rule, and asking why is there 5 questions? That's a question that's been it's just, this is great. It's just
that was brilliant, and they knew it was brilliant because of the post credits scene.
Yeah. They knew that was going to be a hit, and one of the and some people said like, oh, what, like the backstory thing. I thought that was very clever the way they've done it, because if you've played sort of any other D&D campaign, as the party meet, what's the first thing that they're going to do? They're going to espouse their entire backstory to each other in in an interesting way, and so that this is a way of it. Like they've done that, but then obviously they had some it was really funny saying, I really feel that this guy should be here. Whilst I'm like, I think it really would like. I think it really needs to hear some of these some of these key important things. Yeah. So I thought that was great. Look, small gripes. Chris Pine never picked up a sword, which was odd. I thought that was a bit weird that he was just purely loot man. But again, these gripes that are like, this is nitpicking at this point. This is basically going could have been better. Yeah. Having said that, great film. It did okay at the box office. Not great, not bad. Would love to see them basically do another one, but look, again, maybe what
I think if they do another one, it would be really good to see them cast a completely different cast. For a different campaign, so create a new character.
You'd want to see basically a different campaign, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even. I that never crossed my mind. I thought they would just basically continue on the same
cast, but playing different characters.
or you could even have one of this cast be the paladin version, come in and help them move along, kind of.
Okay. So okay,
to keep it all connected.
That look. Either way,
I was impressed that they actually did practical effects in it as well.
Yeah. I saw some good, decent puppetry, which I always appreciate. I always appreciate a film that has decent puppetry.
Yeah,
I think we all enjoy decent puppetry.
Oh yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons to swing it around to Mandalorian is why Grogu is such a hit, because he's primarily practical effects.
Primarily a practical puppet. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah. It's a shame we can't talk about John Wick because you guys haven't seen it.
We will get to that, Jamie.
Not everyone has a spare 3 hours.
Apparently, yeah. So apparently, it's a long film. Look, I'm not against long films. I do enjoy.
I'll put it this way: you don't even notice it's 3 hours.
Okay.
It's paced perfectly.
Oh, okay.
But I don't want to say too much. But it really piqued my interest because any film that mentions Ned Kelly, and they totally mentioned Ned Kelly.
So we don't know if it's actually good or not now. We just
right. It was a one-off line. They go, you know what Ned Kelly's last words were?
Okay.
Such is life. And then that's kind of echoed throughout the film. But look, it was very, very, very good. And not to spoil it or anything, but they say they show you the Japanese Continental.
Oh.
And and then they get some uninvited guests, and he walks past a table of rough-looking Japanese fellas, and he says, "We have guests. Get prepared to show some hospitality."
Oh.
And you're just like, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look. I definitely
you definitely need to check it out.
I definitely want to it's obviously a film I want to see. I just got to find the time now.
Yeah.
Go see it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if you want to see it again, I do have 5 days off over the long weekend.
Outstanding.
So, anytime you want to squeeze it in, buddy.
Well. Let us plan this well.
Now, speaking of John Wick, no. Well, yes and no. But look, we're gonna talk about something that the whole internet is talking about, and that is Chatgpt. Chatgpt. Now, Chris, you brought this to my attention and Ryan's attention. So, do you want to give us a spiel, a little introduction to what is Chatgpt?
Well, everyone has wondered what the next evolution of AI is going to be. Are we going to develop artificial intelligence to, change the world or do things like that? And every single time I've seen movies do AI and do things like that, they've always given humanity too much credit on on what we'd actually would use AI for. ChatGPT once again proves this theory 100% correct, because we've essentially created a very smart tool to help people, one, cheat in school, write ridiculous stories, and create artwork with two characters who would never be seen on screen doing weird shit to each other. This is one of the best examples I can see for ChatGPT. It is an artificial intelligence where artificial intelligence tool where it can do a number of different things. It can create stories. It can create. There's the art version. There's the hilarious, and I truly mean hilarious. There's the hilarious versions on the internet of basically because using what they used. Oh yeah, using AI like voice, where Donald Trump, Barack Obama, and Joe Biden are playing Minecraft together, and it's just fucking hilarious. And then there's the other ones where they're basically playing Dungeons and Dragons together. Bringing it back to Dungeons and Dragons, where Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and Barack Obama playing Dungeons and Dragons, and then Elon Musk is the DM, and it's just fucking hilarious. It's just, and then one time there's Ben Shapiro as the DM, one time it's Joe Rogan as the DM. It's just this entire it's an insane series, and this is what we are using essentially. So this is what we are using our artificial intelligence for, not for the betterment of mankind. But having said that, maybe this intelligence does lead to that. But for the time being, we are thoroughly enjoying the things we can create with this particular artificial intelligence. Now, I created last week just basically some quick things by typing in basically make a better episode 8. I just typed it in and then had the system went away and did its thing. But you guys have also been doing some other sort of, I guess you could call it, you guys have also been dicking around with this particular concept, haven't you?
So Ryan has left the building. This is probably our first technical issue episode. But now that Ryan's gone, Chris, what do you really think about right now? No, because he actually listens back to these episodes.
I think his take on wrestling is complete fabrication.
No, I still think it's pretty. I mean, yes, I did the eyes of seduction when I said, "Come on, man, come to the movies. It's the gang back together. Come on." He's like, "Wrestling's all weekend," and he really did sacrifice a few hours of wrestling.
He sacrificed a few hours of wrestling, which is that's quite a lot for the man to go without wrestling. So and hey, appreciate the sacrifice.
And that little spiel was written by Chatgpt. No.
You can use it for all. Basically, Chatgpt, you can ask it questions. You can basically ask it like think of it. You know how we try to find out shit from Google and you type it in and all you get is ads and a bunch of other stupid shit like that? Yeah. Like Google used to be good because it used to show you like the best result at the top. Now it's basically showing you like who's paid Google the most money to make their result like the top.
Yeah.
Who's playing with the algorithm so they can basically they can type a bunch of keywords to make their shitty site go up the top. This is all what Google is now. Yeah. And this is why people use ChatGPT, because they don't want to find out that you type it in and ChatGPT will then basically go in and find the answer.
Yeah.
Now
it's so annoying because like when I want to just, buy, I need to get a jacket or some item of clothing, it puts all the crappy, imported stuff like go here. I'm like going, no, I want something a little more better than like, a PW shirt or whatever, Yeah.
Now, is ChatGPT perfect? No. There are times where like one versions basically confuse two people together, but basically like I think they had similar names or something, and basically one was like a slave trade and one wasn't, and then but the ChatGPT sort of like saw them both as the same person, and then like made, like just like the people went whoops.
It's like totally off topic, or not really, but do you remember that game that was on your phone and it was like a trivia game? It was like a little genie guy and he would read your like he would read your mind. I can't remember what it was called, but he'd ask you questions, and then you'd have to go yes, no, but you have an idea.
Oh, yeah.
And then he'd go through. Is it it's like basically 20 questions.
And you have to try to stump the genie.
Yeah, like I even said the naked man from How I Met Your Mother, and it got it. Like obscure.
I remember that one.
Yeah,
but this one's not quite that.
Not yet.
It's actually, it's actually better. It's smarter. It's
pretty new though, isn't it? ChatGPT,
relatively new,
or has it been around and people have only just come across it now?
It's open AI. This sort of thing. It's newish. It was mostly like a lot of people first heard about it because of the art. Because essentially you see 1,000 different websites now saying, "Hey, do you want to look put your picture in it and turn yourself into something?" And then obviously the chat one now is become quite popular. And the main reason it's become quite popular is because people are passing university lessons and courses basically by having this thing write the entire essay and write perfectly passing grade, like not even passing grade. Some of them are producing A+ quality essays.
Yeah.
And so we had some fun with it.
Yes.
So would you like to read one of yours and tell us what you typed in to get this particular results?
I've got two, so want to go one each, and then
we'll go one each. Yeah.
I do one, you do one, I do one, you do one, basically.
Yep.
Okay, now I basically because I had just watched John Wick 4, I did write a John Wick TMNT crossover.
Oh shit! I can't wait to hear this.
All right. Okay. And this is what it gave me.
Yep.
Title: John Wick and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Battle for New York.
Oh shit, it even subtitled it.
Yeah. Opening scene. The film opens with John Wick, the world-renowned hitman, on a mission in New York City. As he's walking down the street, he's suddenly ambushed by a group of Foot-Clan ninjas, the sworn enemies of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Turtles, who are watching from the shadows, intervene and help John fight off the ninjas. Now, I could see that, I could see John Wick fighting Foot Ninja. It just fits, man. So Act 1. After the battle, the Turtles introduce themselves to John and explain that they've been fighting the Foot Clan for years. They also reveal that the Foot Clan is planning a major attack on New York City, and they need John's help to stop them. John, who's always up for a challenge, agrees to join forces with the Turtles. Act 2. Together, John and the Turtles embark on a dangerous mission to infiltrate the Foot Clan's headquarters and gather intel on their plans. Along the way, they encounter a number of obstacles, including traps, soldiers, and even mutant animals created by the Foot Clan's scientists. However, they manage to overcome these challenges and get the information they need. Act 3. Armed with the intel, John and the Turtles prepare to take on the Foot Clan in an epic battle for the fate of New York City. The battle takes place on the streets of Manhattan, with John and the Turtles fighting alongside each other against the Foot Clan's army. The fight is intense and both sides suffer losses, but in the end, John and the Turtles emerge victorious. Act 4. With the Foot Clan defeated, John and the Turtles share a moment of triumph. They congratulate each other on a job well done and vow to continue fighting for justice. John also thanks the Turtles for their help and tells them that he's proud to have fought alongside them. Closing scene. The movie ends with John bidding farewell to the Turtles and disappearing into the shadows. The Turtles watch him go, and as they do, they realize that they've made a powerful ally in their fight against evil. They smile at each other and raise their fists in the air, ready for whatever challenges lies ahead.
Oh,
I'm like, that's
wow.
I could tweak that to
That is a solid film.
It is, and it's probably going to be better than whatever rubbish.
The only question, my only question on that film is: do we go PG John Wick, or do we go R-rated Turtles?
I'm bringing. Everyone wants R-rated Turtles.
Okay,
it'd be Last Ronin feeling, but I would want to bring them into the John Wick universe, not John Wick into the Turtle universe.
Nice, yeah.
Because I think that ChatGPT knew what I wanted, because it starts with John Wick.
Yep.
John Wick is doing his thing. He's fighting. He's
Yep.
and I can see John Wick fighting Foot Clan. It just makes sense.
That's outstanding. That is truly wow.
Yeah. Now, what have you got for us? What's
Well, the first one I did was I typed in to I wanted ChatGPT. I typed in basically. I said, write a steampunk story featuring Cat Graham and Henry Cavill romance. This is all I get. That's all I told it, and this is what it produced.
All right, hit us up.
In a world ruled by steam and brass, the skies were filled with airships that resembled the flying creatures of old. Cat Graham was one of the best airship engineers in the land, working hard every day to keep the great machines running. She has a great passion for machines and is known for her quick wit and keen intellect. One day, a tall, dashing airship captain by the name of Henry Cavill arrived at the dock, seeking repairs for his ship. Cat couldn't help but notice the way his azure eyes sparkled in the lights set against his chiseled jawline and rugged looks. She found herself drawn to him despite her best efforts to keep her thoughts focused on her work. As she worked on repairing the airship, they began to talk and discovered they had much in common. Henry was fascinated by Kat's aptitude for machinery and her tireless work ethic. Kat, in turn, found herself intrigued by Henry's tales of adventure and daring exploits of the sky. Over the next few weeks, they found themselves spending more and more time together. They would often talk late into the night, their conversations deepening in intimacy as the hours wore on. There was a spark between them that neither could deny. They soon realized they had fallen in love. Their romance was not without challenges, however. Next bit, yeah. In a world of steam and brass, where there are many dangers to be faced, from rogue pirates to malfunctioning machines, they both knew that being together would mean taking risks, but they knew their love was worth it. One day, as they were flying high in the clouds above, the airship suddenly malfunctioned. In a heart-stopping moment, they found themselves plummeting towards the earth, but together they worked to repair the ship midair and managed to land safely. It was in that moment they both realized how much they meant to each other. Henry took Kat in his arms and kissed her deeply, promising that no matter what challenge lay ahead, they would face them together. And so their love story continued in a world of steam and brass, amidst the whirring machines and smoking clouds. There may have been two people from two different worlds, but in each other's arms, they found the love that was stronger than any force in the universe.
Oh.
Now, what's really funny about that story, I failed to mention any action, and so it didn't do it. Like, there's no battle.
Wow.
It was basically going like, it basically wrote me a steampunk romance. Like, it's basically
it's just like ordinary people in a steampunk world.
I know. That's
steampunk stuff is happening over there.
I know. Steampunk stuff is happening, but obviously it took the keywords of like Henry Cavill and Cat Graham romance and set in a steampunk universe as its primary function.
Now I have a confession to make.
Yep.
I too wrote a Henry Cavill, Cat Graham love story. Now I wanted to be a little bit different, so I wrote my exact words that I typed into ChatGPT was, write me a science fiction romantic comedy starring Cat Graham and Henry Cavill. Nice. Now, I'm just going to say it ahead. Those are the only two actors I mentioned in the title, all right?
Yep.
Because as you'll see, look, I'll just read it to you. I'll read it to you. Title, Love in the Stars. Opening shot of a spaceship zooming through the galaxy. We hear the voice of the ship's AI, Zara. Welcome aboard the SS Stardust. My name is Zara, and I will be your guide on this journey through the stars. Cut to a sleek, modern interior of the spaceship. We see Henry Cavill as Captain Alexei, sitting at the control panel, looking handsome and confident.
Oh, handsome and confident.
Cat Graham as Lieutenant Ava enters the room. Captain, we're approaching the nebula of love. Scans indicate high levels of romantic energy. Great work. Great work, Lieutenant. Prepare for a closer look. As they fly closer, the ship suddenly shakes and the lights flicker. Captain, we're experiencing turbulence. Brace for impact. The ship crash lands on a nearby planet, and Alexei and Ava find themselves stranded. They soon realize that the planet is home to a tribe of aliens who are obsessed with romance and have their own unique set of rules and rituals when it comes to love.
Outstanding.
I want this movie to happen. As Alexei and Ava try to repair the ship, they are forced to navigate the complex social dynamics of the alien tribe. They soon discover that they must follow the tribe's customs if they want to leave the planet alive. Alexei and Ava find themselves in the middle of a love triangle with two members of the alien tribe, played by Zendaya and John Boyega.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, wow.
Interesting casting.
Yeah. The aliens have their own unique pheromones, which cause Alexei and Ava to become irresistibly attracted to each other, despite their initial animosity. That's the word. As they navigate their way through this new world, they start to realize that they have more in common than they initially thought. They begin to bond over their love of adventure and soon find themselves falling for each other. But just as they start to explore their feelings, they discover that the alien tribe has a dark secret, and they must work together to save the planet from destruction. In the end, Alexei and Ava save the planet, and they finally confess their feelings to each other. They share a passionate kiss as they fly off into the stars, leaving the alien planet behind. Zara. Captain, the ship is repaired and ready for takeoff. Thank you, Zara. Set a course for home. Home sounds good for me. They look at each other, smiling, and the ship takes off into the stars. The end.
Wow.
Oh, I would say there's a lot of good stuff in there.
There's a lot of good stuff there.
Like, honestly, like, if you ever want to come up with a script idea, just do that, and then you can kind of tweak, you know? It needs that human tweaking, but...
wow.
I mean, it did start off very cheesy and then got really dark. You know?
Outstanding.
But yeah,
I'm at a loss for words because of that is a brilliant film.
Yeah, a great casting too.
Great cast, like again, John Boyega, Zendaya. I mean,
yeah,
hell, I mean, with Cat Graham and Henry Cavill, that's a film. That is a film right there.
That's a great supporting cast.
Indeed. Now I have a story also set in sci-fi.
Oh, okay.
I gave mine different parameters this time. I said, create me a sci-fi opera featuring space knights, Cat Graham and Henry Cavill as star-crossed lovers. And I gave a very specific, and I use that terminology very specific because I wanted to see how the AI would interpret star-crossed lovers in terms of what it would do with that scenario. Yeah. So here's what I came up with. In a universe far, far away. See what
I see what you did there. See
what the AI did?
Yeah.
The galaxy is governed by the all-powerful Order, the Order of legendary space knights. Cat Graham was the most heroic knights, dazzling with her combat skills and determined to uphold the righteousness wherever necessary. Henry Cavill was a valiant ship captain, fascinated by the marvels of space and mysteries of the cosmos. One day, their paths cross whilst investigating a sinister force that threatened to bring the galaxy to their knees. They were drawn to each other's bravery, loyalty, and an unexpected spark ignited between them. However, their love was forbidden because they represented two different aspects of the Order. Despite their minds screaming with warnings, their hearts refused to listen. They battled ferocious monsters and invaded deadliest traps to navigate the treacherous monsters, but at the end, they discovered the true motive that's driving the darkness that threatened to destroy them all. A powerful artifact capable of dismantling space and time itself. Faced with insurmountable odds, an impossible choice, Cat Graham and Henry Cavill battled together to stop destruction of the universe. In the end, their love proved to be the most powerful weapon. In the midst of soaring debris and swirling vortex, they reached the artifact's core, core. Oh yeah, and use their love as a weapon to destroy it. But by doing so, they were consumed by its power. As the galaxy was saved from certain doom, the Order grieved for the loss of its two most courageous members. But over time, they began to realize that their sacrifice, their love, had been the only way to save them all. They were remembered as heroes who gave everything they had to protect what they loved.
Wow.
See, even this system understood exactly what I was going for, which basically with Star-Crossed Lovers always have a tragic ending. I was like, yes, that is suitably tragic.
Yeah, man, this thing, you could spend so much time on Chatgpt. It's just like, it's like you just want to think of the most weirdest crap you can think of and see what it comes up with. Speaking of.
Yeah. It's you can basically and this is the thing that I guess it's really interesting or what it's used, because to your point, you could use it to sort of spark an idea, and then humanly tweak some of the concepts. But having said that, the ideas that it comes up with are not necessarily original or unique. They are sort of but if you're not familiar with a certain genre and you want to play around with it, that's obviously it's a great tool to utilize. Do you have any other weird and wonderful?
Well, I just typed one in then. I typed two ones in, but then I figured out, like, I typed two in and I said, the first one I said, write the Muppets and a Transformers crossover. And then I wrote Independence Day and Muppets crossover, and they both start the exactly same way. So, for example, like this is the first paragraph of Muppets and Transformers. It was a peaceful day on Sesame Street when suddenly a massive spaceship appeared in the sky. The residents of the street, including Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, and the rest of the Muppets, looked up in awe as a ship descended and landed in the middle of the street. And then the other one was, it starts exactly the same way, like spaceship lands in the street. And the only thing that's different is it's the Transformers, and then the other ones, it's the aliens from Independence Day.
That's interesting.
Like it's like I'm sensing a pattern.
I've not come across that. I mean, like, it's obviously depending on which, I think it's a lot to do with the parameters you set as well. The more parameters you set, it seems to be the better.
Yeah, like you need to be super specific. Yeah.
Although I want to read one.
Okay.
Just because it's funny. So I typed into it, write a better sequel trilogy. That's literally all I typed into it, and this is what it gave me. It gave me just outlines for each movie, but then I just wanted to read it.
Do it.
Episode 7, The Force Awakens. So I didn't change the title. I liked that one. It was like going, yep, that's a good title.
Yeah.
Following the events of Return of the Jedi, the galaxy is at peace with the New Republic reigning supreme, but a new terrifying threat emerged from the mysterious malevolent entity. Meanwhile, a young scavenger girl named Rey, it kept Rey, discovered a droid carrying a secret message vital to the safety of the galaxy. Along with a rogue stormtrooper named Finn, they set off on an adventure to return the droid to the New Republic. Along the way, they meet a mysterious, grizzled Jedi Knight by the name of Luke Skywalker. They undiscover a dark force behind the new threat to the galaxy, and Rey discovers that she has a strong connection with the Force and learns of her true heritage. Episode 8, The Last Hope. Rey continues her training with Luke Skywalker on the remote planet of Arc 2. Meanwhile, Finn, with the help of his new allies, discovered the true intentions and the motivations of the First Order. General Leia Organa discovers that the New Republic is not what it seems, and the Resistance sets out on a dangerous mission to reveal the corruption and take down the corrupt new leaders of the New Republic. The film explores the themes of morality, honor, loyalty, as the heroes must decide what values are they willing to fight for against overwhelming odds. Episode 9, The Rise of the Jedi. With the New Republic in ruins, the Resistance battles the First Order in order for control of the galaxy. Rey, with the help of Finn, Poe Dameron, and General Leia, must face her greatest challenge yet, a new Sith Lord who has been manipulating events from the shadows. Rey learns more about her past and her connection to the Force, and must confront the dark side within herself to save the galaxy from the new threat. As the Resistance sets out to destroy the new Sith Lord and the First Order once and for all, odd allies and enemies come together for a final battle. The ultimate fate of the galaxy rests upon the shoulders of the new Jedi Order as they seek to balance the Force from light and dark. And then it gives me a little ending blurb. This revised sequel trilogy puts focus on characters that viewers can truly become invested in. What? and builds upon the themes of the original trilogy, whilst introducing new elements into the Star Wars universe. The trilogy would provide a satisfying conclusion whilst paving the way for a new journey into the Star Wars galaxy. Oh, so apparently this AI knew exactly what it should be doing.
Wow.
Well,
I want to say that this AI is now stupid because guess what? I just typed into it.
What?
I typed in, write a better Last of Us Part 2. And all it did was change the ending. Like, that's not better, you know? Like,
I mean,
you know?
But obviously, it's learning from the internet. So obviously, what it's reading from the internet is basically saying, like, Last of Us Part 2 is awesome.
Yeah.
But obviously, from Star Wars, it's reading people going, yeah, okay, this is shit.
Yeah. No, but
you could add different words in.
Yeah.
You could write a better Last of Us Part 2 where Joel lives, and then it would basically formulate based upon that scenario.
Well, no, look, it's a little ironic because like what I love about the Last of Us games is it shows you the depravity of mankind, like how selfish we are, and especially at the end of the first game, like what Joel did was primarily selfish, and like we talked about before, like he's a monster, like something broke him, and that's all. But the thing I can sort of get behind is like, I'll just read the last paragraph that it wrote. It says, this alternative ending highlights the themes of forgiveness, empathy, and the power of human connection. And I'm like, see, I can get behind that. But not in the Last of Us universe, none of it's supposed to exist in that. That's exactly what I love. That's what I love about it. It's raw. It's real. It's what post-apocalyptic would be.
Yeah. But again, like it's all about basically the parameters you sort of set for it, and obviously as you set more parameters, it obviously then learns what you're trying to. It learns what it needs to do. Like and as I've been playing around with it, I've also discovered that if I set if I tell it to do very specific things, it'll do very specific things, and it will and it will do them very, very well.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so what do we wrap up with a general thought, like because this is AI, like, are you worried that AI might go to the movie point of things where it takes over the world, like Age of Ultron kind of ridiculousness, or
no? But I do believe studio executives should use it when they're trying to think of dumb movies, and because based upon what I've seen so far, it knows exactly what people want for certain film franchises. When you just type it in, it goes, okay, this is what people want. Because it's actually like, it's not just listening to Twitter and saying, okay, this is what people on Twitter want. It's basically like scouring its sources, and it's learning, constantly learning. So I think that has great value for the morons who run Hollywood.
Yeah, 100%.
But I don't foresee any sort of it's going to take over the world. No.
So basically, the alternative to Age of Ultron would be like it becomes Chatgpt and starts writing novels, and
because the thing I like the most about Age of Ultron
is that he looked at the internet for 5 minutes and
exactly. Ultron looked at the internet for 5 seconds and went, "Mankind must be destroyed." And I'm like going, "Hell, I totally get that." He looked at it for 1 second and went, "Oh, no, this isn't right." I was like going, "You were on 4chan looking up furries, weren't you?" And you went, "Oh my god."
Yeah, and then I guess you could also bring it into Tony Stark saying like to save the world, but he wasn't specific enough.
Because he wasn't like, again, see, with your Chatgpt things, yes, you can leave it open and have it guess things, but if you be very specific comes up with like some of the best stories. Like some of the like if you want a story to do something specific, if you type in the very specific thing, it's going to come up with that very specific thing, and it's going to be amazing. So this is what we need to do now, is basically, constantly create ideas using Chatgpt and have it learn.
That's it. So don't be specific, like because Age of Ultron, he should have said
specific.
Yeah.
Tony Stark left it open, and Ultron decided that because of the openness of it, his mission was to destroy humanity by creating a second ice age.
To save the planet by
hurling a
wiping
giant
out the
rock
people that are on there,
that are killing us all. Yes.
Yeah.
So let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Yeah. No.
Now, before we wrap up, Jamie, did you have any other final thoughts, comments that you want to raise?
Probably just another plug of my book coming out. Letters from the Emu Wars, coming out in May 22nd. Here in Australia. Link is in the show notes if you want to go pre-order a copy. It's fantastic. I've been spending time making merch for my book launch too. And I'm just going to say our artwork is awesome. And I'm also thinking, and I'll put this to you now, Chris. I'm thinking of going to the wonderful world of Fiverr that has been so kind to us in art and stuff like that, and thinking of making a short, animation where it's basically an emu in a uniform sitting at a desk writing, and then we do the voiceover while he's writing the letter, like that
yes.
And that beautiful music behind it is like, dear Greta.
Before you go on Fiverr, it's just try one of the many AI art apps, and then basically
that's true. Yeah, 100%.
yourself.
100%. No, but like I was looking into it. Basically, that's what I'm getting at, because I think that'd be a great way to promote the book. A funny little animation.
I believe so, 100%.
But yeah, as always, check out Rebecca Cassells and the Rising Dawn series if you're into werewolf romance. It's what I love about it is it's a unique way, because if people know me, and Chris can attest to this.
Oh my God, it's the most painful thing in the universe.
No, I love when people do things differently. Like, because Chris hates it when we work together on something and have an idea and I go, nah, that's been done to death. Like I like something that's a little different, a little unique.
Yes, I like when we're working on something together and their idea is to create something like a hero's journey story, and then you get saying, "Oh, that's been done before." It's going, well, yeah, the hero's journey is called "The Man of 1,000 Faces" because it is the same concept told over 1,000 times in mythology. And there you are going, "Oh, that's been done before." No, but I'm like, find a different way to do it. Find a different way to do it, because I'm sick. Like, No, I do get that point. I do get it.
And look, you create things when you push back a little bit. ChatGPT doesn't push back; it just goes.
And you know what? That's a good point. ChatGPT will do exactly what you want.
Yeah.
I think when we'll get real great stories when it starts questioning, going, really, that's what you want.
Yeah.
I think if we do this, I think we can do these ones a little bit better. I think that's when we're going to get real amazing stuff out of ChatGPT, when it starts going it starts going like, when you type an idea and you all of a sudden you see ChatGPT go like,
that's what I did when I saw Write a Better Part last first part too. But yeah, I digress. Look, if you guys want to reach out to us, thetrueandthefictional@gmail.com, stories_podcast on Instagram. Check it out there. And thanks for listening. Ryan will hopefully be back for the entire next episode. He had a few problems with his computer. It happens to us all. Or he snuck off to watch more wrestling. We may never know.
That one seems more likely.
I'm just saying. Do you want to type that into ChatGPT? Why did Brian leave us?
Or wrestling.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, as we say every single time, we bid you
adieu.
Adieu.